Sponsored by Transitions Empowerment. And here are your hosts, Larry, Mira, and Rube Gabre.
Welcome to another episode of Ballin VA. Listen, it's my pleasure, my honor to have my man on the show, man. My man Mitch Brown. He was a sports journalist in the 757. Now he's in South Carolina. He's a graduate of Unity Reed High School in Northern Virginia. He's an ODU grad. I gotta give a shout out to WODU and Mace Crown. I'm an alumni of that too, bro. He helped relaunch. Listen to this. He helped relaunch the WTKR Sports Department along with Mr. Winkler over there. He's covered so many sports, including the UVA basketball team winning the national championship, the NFL draft, the Washington football team. He had exclusive interviews with my man AI and Michael Vick. Yo, he's got the WACH Sports Director on lock. He's a sports director in South Carolina. He's covering Clemson football and Clemson sports. The University of South Carolina women's basketball team with Dawn Staley and the Carolina Panthers. Yo, my pleasure, my honor, my great man, Mr. Mitch Brown. Mitch, thank you so much, bro. I know you're busy, man. Thanks for spending some time with us, man.
Love. Appreciate you guys for having me. Honestly, I'm just blessed to be here today on this show on a nice Friday. I appreciate y'all, man. This is the home roots there. Like I said, VA all day, man. ODU 7-5. That's love, man. Spent a lot of time there, grew into a man there. So I appreciate y'all having me on for real.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Thanks for coming on.
Thanks for coming on, man. I remember you when you was a young pup, bro, like at ODU, trying to figure it out. And I was speaking there and I saw you. I said, man, this man got it. We're going to get into that, bro. But I want you to explain, your upbringing, man. You grew up in Northern Virginia. Just tell everybody, your love for sports. Did you play any sports growing up? And just tell everybody about yourself.
Yeah, man. I grew up in Manassas, Virginia, to be exact. Born and raised in Northern Virginia until I went to Old Dominion. And I went to what they call Unity Reed High School now with Stonewall Jackson back in the day when I was there, the Raiders. So, I grew up playing soccer. I came home one day in elementary school. It's like 2000. And I was like, yo, this fire. I want to play soccer. Trash when I first started. But like with I didn't know how to play, but like with anything, we're just trying it. You go into the second season, I started scoring and I'm faster than every dude out there. And this is like U6, U7 elementary school. And so I started keep playing it until I get to high school. So I played about 10 years and then I transitioned into cross country and track and field. So I ran the 800. I don't know why when I look back on it, well, I just wasn't fast enough to sprint, but I was a distance runner. So I ran the 800, played those. But yeah, like I said, growing up, man, I was a young knucklehead, just, in and out of trouble.
We all were, bro. We all were.
You know how it goes, in and out of trouble. But, I credit my parents, man, for just never giving up on me. And really the village that I had around my family, just helping me get to where I am now, which is the South Carolina.
Thanks, Jinky Wentworth.
Man, that's dope, man. We appreciate you coming on, man. Like I said, how was it growing up living up in Northern Virginia, man? We always look in Northern Virginia as like the nice area, man. All the money, man. Money, yeah.
Hey.
Money.
Look, let me tell you something. Real quick, Larry, that's a good question. I grew up in Baltimore, not far from you. And we weren't worthy of driving to Northern Virginia. When I was growing up, it was like, yo, Northern Virginia, you can't go out there, bro. You can't afford out there.
You gotta come correct up Nova.
You gotta come correct in Northern Virginia, bro.
Hey, look, y'all was hanging with Avon and no, I was kidding. But nah, man, you know what though? I'm not even gonna deny that because Nova has like two of the. If you looked at the statistics, they have two of the like richest counties. I think Prince William County is one of them, and Loudoun County is one of them.
Loudoun County, yep, yes sir.
But look, that's a big difference. Loudoun County, Prince William, there's a big difference there. Prince William has some nice areas, but also has some rundown areas. Loudoun County is just like all balling. You see dudes coming out Stonebridge, Ashburn, or Trace McSorley dudes like that coming out of there. Jonathan Allen. But for me, growing up in Northern Virginia, Manassas, it was a melting pot, and that's why I feel like I can be a chameleon wherever I go and adapt. Because I was around a lot of African Americans, I was around a lot of Caucasian people, I was around a lot of Hispanic people, I was around a lot of Asian people, a lot of Indian and East African, West African people. So it really helped me diversify, and I feel like I went to school at ODU. It was like, it didn't matter what audience it was. So that's one of the things that I enjoy about where I grew up, and I take pride in that, because it was just a melting pot. And like, if you look back in middle school on the soccer team, I was the only black kid on the team, and everybody else was Hispanic. There's one white kid on the team, and the rest were Hispanic. So out of 22 kids. So that just kind of give you a little insight into, you know, how I kind of grew up, man, and why I kind of see a lot of different perspectives now.
I mean, I did the soccer thing too, bro. I played soccer in Baltimore too. I played soccer and basketball. I know the feeling was like the diversity, especially in a sport like soccer. You got so many different nationalities coming through and everything like that. So you transitioned to ODU, man. You talked about the diversity. What's your mindset going to ODU? I mean, did you already know you were going to major in communications there?
Yeah, I knew at like 12 years old I was going to be doing something like either journalism or doing sports agency. And I always tell people I didn't want to go to law school, so I didn't feel like reading that much. I didn't feel like learning that jargon. And to be honest with you, I wasn't a big fan of school like that, where I wanted to go past high school and college. Right. So I was like, I'm gonna get to college and I'm gonna get my bachelor's, but that's gonna be it. Maybe I'll get a master's down the road, but I'm feeling good right now.
That's cool. Done. Yeah, that's it. That's all love right there. Bro.
Yeah,
that's it.
You ain't lying.
You know, that was always my goal, because I was always, you know, my parents, they were always hands-on people, and I always, you know, growing up close to my dad and my mother, they just always worked. So I just like doing stuff with my hands or being hands-on and doing labor. That's how I kind of got my experience, is being hands-on. You know, in classes with news, or in, you know, newsrooms, or just finding internships as a sophomore, a junior, before I even get to my senior year, when people really start thinking about, oh, maybe I should start, you know, working towards my career. So it was kind of like do or die there for me. Go big or go home. And, you know, it worked out for me. It was a lot of sacrifice at times. I still had fun in college, but, you know, I had a chip on my shoulder because I wanted to go to George Mason. I thought my vision was the vision that was supreme for me.
Great communication department.
2006.
They got a great communication department too, bro.
Yeah.
Yep.
I was looking at that too, for sure, bro.
And
yep, my son was same thing.
Yeah, good school.
Good school. We visited there 9th, 10th, and 11th grade. That's okay. Man. Big up to George Mason. They got a great school over there. Man. Great school, great campus.
And that tour, I'm sure, Larry, you've seen that tour is one that you're like, okay, I'm sold.
I'm coming here.
I was sold.
Hey, look, Larry, they feed you good and everything.
Man, it was so nice. I said, Malik, you'll be here, bro. And then he ended up changing. He said, no, I'm going to ODU. I was like, what? Oh, okay. All right.
For real.
I only toured 2 schools, and I only applied to 2 schools. I only got into one. It was Old Dominion. So I was like, well, I guess I'm going to Old Dominion. You know, and once I saw, I was like, okay, this is okay. I like it. You know, it's nice and warm down here.
Right.
When I got there in August 2011, I was like, okay, this is where God needed me to be, or wanted me to be right now.
For sure. It's all about where you feel like you feel comfortable at, and where God puts you.
That and it really showed throughout those 4 years, man. Had some ups and downs. Of course, you grew into a man, but you know, or a young adult. And I really enjoyed that time because I made lifelong friends there. And obviously, as you see here, I made, you know, brothers and OGs that are helping me and have helped, you know, get me to this point. So I just really see it as divine intervention in that moment, honestly.
Oh man, that's dope, man. That's dope. I mean, I'm thinking.
No, it's crazy because I remember I was WODU asked me to come speak, and Mitch was in the back of the room, bro. Like I remember, man, he asked me a question. I was like, yo, who is this guy? This guy knows what he's talking about. And I always remember you, man. Like, and I was like, yo, keep in touch with me, man. I was telling my wife, I was like, yo, that guy that asked that question in the back is he gonna be somebody, man. She said, how do you know? I said, man, I can just feel it. My man gets it.
Right.
And that's why I'm so proud of you, bro. Like, I've been following your career. I've been a huge fan when you did the Locker Room show on Channel 3. And I'm gonna talk about that, man. I worked at 3, bro. Like I worked at Channel 3 back in the day, you know, where sports was kind of scarce, man.
Yes, sir.
And you relaunched the whole sports department there, man. You brought it back. And just talk about, you know, after college, you go on to sports at Channel 3, man, and try to, you know, bring the 757 to have another station down there, man.
man, I'm not there anymore, so I can talk about this. I'm one of those old dudes.
Exactly.
You know, I'm getting older. I see why y'all like to just do nothing but talk. But but no, honestly, man, it's 2015. 2014, I did an internship there in the fall of my senior year. Did well there with, B. Parsons, Nathan, Bruce Rader.
B. Parsons. Shout out to B. Parsons, bro. That's my man.
OG out there, 7'5". But yeah, so I did that, and in that spring, I was like, hey, I got to find a way to get my foot in the door, because I don't think I'm ready to be an on-air reporter just yet. And I wasn't. But I got a video editor job right before I graduated, so I was working at Wavy part-time for a couple
Shout out to Karen Granneman.
Yeah, you know my names. Yeah. Karen was a little upset that I was leaving to go across the pond to Norfolk.
She was mad I left too, but it's all good. She's good people, man.
She is. It was all love, and they supported me and helped give me a start. So I went over to TKR, man, and long story less long, I ended up being a photographer for 10 months, working morning shifts. But after I would get off, we would take home equipment back then. So I would use the equipment and go, create some stand-ups, create some stories, shoot some stories. And I got an opportunity when the new management came in, and we had no sports. He was like, look, we'll start brand new. I said, hey, this is what I've done. He said, okay, I'll let you go down to the 2016 NCAA tournament. Wow. If you do well with that live shot, we'll discuss, bro. Maybe you'll get a chance. And all day long, I'm driving down to Raleigh. It's UVA Hampton. I'm thinking about that live shot at 5 o'clock, man.
Look, you had 3 hours to think about it.
You know what I'm saying? A smooth, and that's a country 3 hours. So
a long ass 3 hours.
That's for sure.
That joke. So we get down there, and it's just me. I set up the shot. 5 o'clock rolls around. I do a shot for Norfolk and Richmond. And it was bad. I look back at it the other day. It was bad, but it's cool. Like, it was good enough to give them the ability to say, look, I'm gonna give this dude a shot because he might end up being a star someday. And I credit Ryan Minot, for giving me that shot, Skip Valet, and Adam Winkler too, because he came from Austin. He was been in the game for 10 plus years, and I gotta be real, man. That's one of the best dudes I've ever met.
Great dude. Yes.
He came in and said, "Look, I'm the face of this." Nah, he gave me opportunities to grow. He gave me opportunities to learn from my mistakes, and he never. He could always depend on me because he put that trust in me. So I appreciate him for putting that trust in me. And when you do that, I'm just gonna make sure you never have a reason not to trust me.
Man, that's a great story, man. You talking about, man, you put in some work. I mean, most time you got people that just expect something that's been given to them. You had a plan. You was like,
preach,
okay,
Larry. Preach to him, bro. Preach to him.
And you was like, I'm gonna do this. If this don't work, I'm gonna do this. And the people that gave you the opportunity, you didn't make them out a liar, man. You went out there and did what you're supposed to do. And like I said, when you got that ambition, man, when you just keep moving and moving, can't nothing hold you back, man. So I just like this story for people because traditionally we have guys on here that accomplish this and that. But this was such rare interview that you coming on and giving your perspective, this journalism and stuff like that, man. Yes. Well, I appreciate you, man. I appreciate it because this is what people need to hear because you don't know what people got going on. Their kids might be doing this and that.
Yes.
And it's not always with sports here. So the fact that you said that, man, you just made me record this. And look, my son got to watch this. No,
Larry is so right. And I want people to understand this, bro. Like, you remember, like, there was no sports where he was at, though, dog. Like, he had to they gave him they said, drive to the NCAA tournament and show me.
And create something.
Create something. And I want everybody listening on Twitter, YouTube, Facebook, wherever we post this, like, you only get if you get an opportunity, take advantage of it. And my man Mitch Brown did that, and that's why he's my man. That's why he's my young guy, man. He doing his thing, and you do your thing in Channel 3. And before we move on, bro, I want everybody. Who was the best person you saw play when you were in the 757? Basketball, football, baseball, field hockey, soccer, whatever. You know what I'm saying?
Let's get into it, bro.
Let's get into it.
I'm proud. I've had a lot of pride because this is around. I've been in the business for about 6 years now. This is the time where I'm starting to see those young bulls that we were covering in the 7-5 starting to go to the league. Jeremiah Super Roma going to the league.
Daz Newsome.
Cam Thomas is about to be in the league. Daz Newsome is in the league.
Yeah.
Andrew Brown. Jordan Williams is on the way. I mean, Tavian Robinson. There's a lot of dudes but as far as like the very best that I saw, man. Sean Mitchell was in high school. Sean Mitchell was something serious.
Quarterback from Oscar Smith. Yeah,
he was something serious. He was a good talent. Went on to William and Mary. But as far as like hoops, man, Cam came in as a freshman and was dropping 30 on the entire state. And this dude just went and led the SEC in scoring. And I was telling people, he came to Columbia last year and set the Bojangles Bash record. So
when he was at Oak Hill? Yeah.
I said, Cam Thomas is going to be there. And I knew as a freshman, he was just cool, calm, and collected. This dude was a silent assassin. But that, in my time of covering people, that was one of the best dudes I had seen. But there's just so many talents, man.
Yeah, and Larry got a front row seat because his son played against Cam Thomas in high school.
Had to guard him.
Had to guard him, bro. Had to guard him. Yeah.
That didn't go too well.
No, but they ended up beating him. But it's crazy because Larry, everybody on this podcast can attest to this. Like when you watch these kids young, and then you see them involved, like me. I saw Jeremiah Wusu was a skinny kid coming to Bethel, and now he's in the league, like stoked, like look like he got bowling balls on his shoulders. You know what I mean? It's like, it's like, man, like where did it come from? And it's like, I just love the stories. And again, you know, you grew up in Northern Virginia, you saw the athletes there. Now you're in South Carolina with we'll talk about this later with Dawn Staley doing her thing in South Carolina. You got Clemson, you follow the Panthers. So, you know, for you to say Cam, man, that's right on because Cam is doing his thing up in LSU now in the NBA.
Yeah, and I know it's still fresh, but shouts to Daz, you know, for getting drafted too, man, because that's a guy who's always been undersized, but always had the heart of a lion out there. And he forged a path for himself. And I'm excited to see dudes like Cam Kelly, Sheridan Jones step up this upcoming year because those are some of the other young bulls that I saw coming up that I feel like are about to take that. Darian Seabrun out there at NC State, man. Just
I remember him. Yeah, Lake Taylor.
State, man. I mean, he just made the NCAA tournament. Those are all dudes that took an opportunity and are making the most of it, man. I'm just proud of them for that.
Man, you said a mouthful there, man, because my son had to play against Cam Thomas, man, and he dropped 38 on my son's school. And we had, you know, we just like, okay. And it was my son's birthday, so it was just like, man, I don't
oh, no, man, dog.
Yeah. I mean, he guarded him as tight as he could. He's just so crafty, man.
He got good footwork. His footwork
is amazing. Does. Yeah, it is, man. As a freshman, I'm like, this dude, like, who the hell is this dude?
And one of the last things too about Cam that I feel like people underestimate is his lower body strength. It's like Cam is not the biggest dude up top.
No, he's not.
But he will find a way to absorb that contact and finish through it. And he was doing that
right.
At LSU. I had a front row seat. LSU, USC playing. They scored in like the 90s. I'm like, how are you doing this in college hoops? But man, finds a way to score 30 even in a bad game.
Yeah, he's a natural scorer.
So we talked about 757. So you in South Carolina now, Mitch.
Yes, sir.
What's Dawn Staley like, and what's that experience like down in South Carolina to follow Clemson, the Carolina Panthers, and of course, you know, the Gamecocks in terms of Dawn Staley? Her team's always in the top, 3 every year, bro?
Man, it's such a blessing because, you know, you go from, you know, Norfolk and Virginia B75 where you just got incredible talent that goes on to the next level, some of the greatest. And then you come to South Carolina where you've got some of the best football talent in the country, some of the best football played in the country, and you've got one of the best women's basketball or men's basketball teams in the country, and you got a Hall of Famer right here, an Olympic gold medalist. Dawn Staley is the queen of Columbia. You know,
I bet.
What she says goes. But she really has been, even off the court, just an advocate for so many things that matter to people here in South Carolina. But just being able to cover Clemson in January 2020, I was in New Orleans for 6 days for the national championship. I'm in the Superdome in the 600 levels watching Trevor Lawrence versus Joe Burrow. That's one of the greatest, you know.
I told y'all 5 years ago he was gonna get there, bro. Come on, man.
Yo, no, you A1 day one, you had stock, man.
Dude,
so
man, that is dope, bro. That's dope that you followed that game, bro. That's nice.
Man, and so, you know, we would have went to, you know, the national championship last year because that women's Gamecock team won 26 straight games going into the tournament.
Yeah, they were nice. They were nice.
Nobody beating them. I'm sorry. Oregon was good, but there was nobody beating them. So this year, obviously, we didn't get to travel with them to San Antonio, but they still made the Final Four. And this was the year where it was like, we don't know.
Right.
Now they bring in 4 more McDonald's All-Americans. They got a freshman of the year from the ACC who's 6'7". So they'll be right back in the Final Four as a floor for them next year. So it's just a blessing to be able to cover great women's basketball. I love women's basketball. Grew up Sparks fan, watching Lisa Leslie. Of course, Don Staley. So I just love that the women's game is kind of the epicenter right here. UConn is doing the thing, but the epicenter, they're selling out. When UConn came in, there was 18,000 fans in there.
Stop it.
So the game happened.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
It's crazy how the state has transitioned from North Carolina, Georgia. Nothing was mentioned about South Carolina, anything. You know, you might have the Gamecocks, you know, that might compete here and there, but how Clemson is and the Gamecocks women's basketball team has taken over that state, man. Can you talk about exactly how the excitement is now? I know you just said it was 18,000 fans at a UConn game. Tell us about the atmosphere of a Clemson game or a South Carolina women's game, man, for sure, because it's crazy now.
It's definitely crazy for sure.
You know, I've been blessed to be at, you know, at some great moments. I was at the UVA Elite 8 game against Purdue, but one of the things that really almost like sometimes I take in the moment. I like to do that after the national anthem. You'll be on the field. It was Clemson, South Carolina, in 2019. And, you know, right before that, it's, you know, half orange, half garnet and black in that football season. You can talk about Ohio State, Michigan. You can talk about Army, Navy. When this game is at its peak, Clemson, South Carolina, ain't nothing like it, man. These people care about it no matter what the sport. Women's soccer, Clemson beat South Carolina, okay, or South Carolina beat Clemson in softball or baseball, whatever it is, it matters down here.
Damn,
so
like that, huh? Wow.
I almost shed a tear before the USC Clemson game because you're like, this matters to people. It's passion. There's 80,000 in that stadium. These dudes, and it's just it takes it to another level. And it just really reminds you, like, sports is a safe haven. It's a place for people to create generational wealth. It's a place for people to use a platform, but it's also a place for people to see passion on display, man. And I feel like here in South Carolina, at the high school level for football, man, it's just a different level too. So to see all of this and get this experience, man, it's something I would have never had if I didn't leave Virginia, man.
Hey, look, what my shirt say: exposure leads to expansion, bro.
I'm gonna need that. I'm gonna actually.
You gotta get it done, bro. I picked it up and I was just like, you have to expose yourself to different stuff to expand your mind, and you just touched on it, and I love it how you eloquently said it, man. You gotta go somewhere. Man, sometimes you gotta leave your comfort zone, you know, to see what's going on. And again, like you in South Carolina now. Hold on, first of all, he's a sports director at WACH. Was it WACH TV? What was it? WACH. Go ahead and tell us.
WACH FOX Sports Zone every night at 11 o'clock. We're the only station in Columbia that has a 30-minute sports show every night during the weekdays. We do it 6 days a week during the football season. You know, right now, obviously, not as many sports going on, but we still find a way to show love no matter what it is. If it's high school soccer around this time, we're doing it. Gamecock baseball, we're doing it. So you know, we just find a way to hit everything. We were at the Wells Fargo Championship for golf today. That was in Charlotte. So
I saw you.
Wow.
Yes,
sir. A lot of things going on, man. And we just like to have our hand in everything here. We got the largest sports team too in Columbia. So
that's good, man.
It's just all love,
how was Zion Mania? Did you get the chance to cover Zion Williamson?
So I miss Zion. It's interesting because Wink had to come down. Adam had to come down to for the NCAA tournament when Zion was here with Duke, and they were in Columbia. And at that time, I was in Hartford with ODU. So it's hilarious because at that time, I wasn't thinking a thing about Columbia. I was like, oh, that looks nice, Colonial Life Arena. But then a couple months later, I'm down here as my job, as my home. But yeah, man, I think it's just interesting to see how everything kind of folded out, from all of that, man. So it's just been really cool to see how it all plays out, man, and get those experiences. And like you said, it's exposure leads to expansion. So I archive every single moment that we kind of go through, and this is kind of like a database in my head now, man. So I could talk about this all day.
No, I mean, and again, like that's why I wanted to have you on, because you grew up in the DC area, you covered the 7-5, now you in the South Carolina area, so it's like you've had your spectrum is growing in terms of sports knowledge and sports exposure. So, what do you think it is? I'm not going to ask you I guess I can ask you who's your favorite athlete first of all.
My favorite athlete was D-Wade. You see him behind me.
I see you back. I see you back there.
Man, it was Eddie Jones. I was a big fan of Eddie Jones.
Eddie Jones, nice, solid assassin. Yes,
sir, man. EJ was a guy. He was money in NBA Live. So for some reason I gravitated towards him. And then when he was on the Heat, that's when I decided I was like, I'm gonna rock with the Heat. They had Brian Grant, Jamal Mashburn, they had Lamar for quick stint. So 02 is when it started, man. But yeah, D-Wade really kind of molded. 2006, I was like, wow, this dude is a star. I didn't know who he was coming out, man.
Marquette. Yeah.
But that's what gravitated me, because D-Wade never made it about him. It was all about making everybody else around him better. And I really tried to apply that to life, because I feel like D-Wade always said there's always enough room to eat for everybody at the table. So he was always making plays for others, or making plays for stuff he needed to. And I relate to that so much, man, where you can just find a way to win without having to be the hero all the time, or needing to take the credit and stuff like that. So that's why D-Wade's always been my dude. But as far as football, when it comes to football, NFL, I'm a Cowboys fan.
Okay.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah. Got some claps in the background. Okay.
Yeah, man, we ain't doing too well right now.
Wait, hold on. One second, Larry. 1 second. My man grew up in DC, and he a Cowboy fan, bro. How that happen?
Man, I have a Tyler Emmitt Smith jersey. I don't know how it happened. I guess it just became
that's how the Redskins suck.
Yeah.
Hey, look, I can't, and it was funny because people always would try and call my bluff when I was up in Norfolk, man. But hey, when the checks got it clear, man, we just gonna give you a fax and keep the bias.
That's it. That's how it go, man.
That's right.
That's how it go,
so it was what it was. But I actually came to like Washington and the organization and the people that work inside the building, the players that were there, even though they weren't having the success that they wanted to. And of course, when I left, they make the playoffs. But
right.
You know what I'm saying? But it was just getting to know them, like dudes like DJ Swearinger, who I still talk to because he went to South Carolina.
Yes, he did.
So it's cool because you get to know them on a different level, and you start to root for them because you know them on a personal level. So.
Man, what do you think about our draft for Cowboys, man? Did you get this cover?
It was unorthodox, yeah. I was hoping J.C. Horn, honestly, selfishly,
South Carolina. Yeah.
That game guy, I try to tell people, he said he's the best player in the draft, and he was first defensive player drafted. But, I think that draft was good for them. They needed to go all defense. I said that they needed to be like Matt Rule and just address the defense, because Carolina lost 8 games by 1 score or less.
Yep, they sure did.
You got to have a defense in today's game, man. And you got to have weapons that are versatile. So I think they addressed that. And I think Dallas has some weapons to put them in contention to win the East next year.
Good answers.
Hey, look, I know you got to run in a little bit, but real quick, man, what do you feel? Me and Larry, we got a little roundtable discussion going on with former Old Dominion. You remember Nyree Roberts? I know you heard the name Nyree Roberts from Old Dominion, the Hall of Fame.
I have heard that name. Yes, sir.
We've talked about players getting paid, and you've been around university, you've been around ODU, you've been at Norfolk State, you've been around South Carolina. What's your take on that whole, the paying for likeness and all that, man?
Well, I'm glad that you mentioned, Norfolk State and the Hamptons and the South Carolina states, because I think this is a game changer. You just look at Howard University.
Yep.
Who did they just bring in? McCurry. Obviously, he didn't work out the way they wanted him to.
And I haven't heard him go. He's staying. He didn't go to the draft or anything. He's staying there for another year.
I think that's perfect for him because some of these kids, look at it from a microwave standpoint where it's like, oh, whatever, I can go to the G League, but it doesn't always work out that way. I look at dudes like Ahmad Caver who could have, benefited so much from having a personal brand coach there and saying, hey, Perfectly Franks wants to do a sponsorship with you, or they want you to post on Instagram, come to Perfectly Franks. You know what I'm saying? I'm just thinking of those HBCUs that are going to be able to get these 5-star prospects in now, especially in a place like DC and Howard, WHUR radio. There's so many outlets there for HBCUs to try and even the playing field now, but also I think it's good for the players because if you are going to college route, football, you have to do that. For the NBA, it's going to change soon. But also for women's basketball players, this is going to be huge.
It is.
Yes.
It is.
It's even in the playing field for some sports that don't make as much revenue as football and basketball. I think everybody's looking at it from a vacuum of football, basketball is about to change. Nah, field hockey is about to change. Baseball is about to change because there's so many sponsorship opportunities out there. There's so many chances you can. On a Saturday for 2 hours, you sign some autographs and you're a college kid can make $500 for doing that. Wow. Why not?
Why not?
Why not? Teach you some fiscal responsibility, right?
For sure.
Right.
For sure.
Tennis do it all the time. Tennis been doing it for years.
Yep.
Exactly.
Sure,
and one rookie symposium is not going to, when they get to the league, or if they even get to the league, all these kids aren't getting to the leagues and the professional leagues. They're going pro in something different than the sport that they grew up in. So I think it's an opportunity for them to start making money, learning some fiscal responsibility, and then learning how to be a young adult before they get into the world and they're completely on their own. They don't have the backing of a program anymore. You got to learn it at some point.
At some point, you're exactly right. Oh, man, that was perfect. Man, you need to come on that round table.
This is what I told you, man. My man know what he's talking about. My man's sharp, bro. My man's sharp.
I appreciate
Hey,
it.
look, Mitch, I know you got to run, bro, but I want you to real quick tell the young listeners out there, what's your best advice, man, to get into journalism? There's no blueprint for success. I've always said that.
Right.
But what's the one thing that you hang your hat on in terms of letting young people who look up to you and try to be like you and try to get to where you are? What's the one thing you tell them?
Good question.
It is a great question because in this day and age, in journalism and in TV, whatever industry it is, they're all changing right now because the pandemic affected that. So I just want to freshen this up and say that you still have to run the race at your own pace. You can't compare yourself to others that are in your same industry, same business, because you end up getting distracted from what you need to do to get to where you need to get to. Sure. You're not in competition with nobody but yourself. But I think the biggest thing is to be able to do everything. It's great to be good. It's great to be great at one thing, but it's even better to be good at multiple things.
There you go.
So, if you have the multi-dimensional ability to, read or write, edit, then go out there and shoot the video, then go out there and, anchor it, after doing all that. Your time management is everything because if it's 8:30, 9 o'clock and your show's not done, it's gonna look a mess, man. It's all about you. So it's all about the count. Right. And I also want to stress this. This is one word I just want to stress: accountability.
Yes.
Be accountable. Gotta be
if
accountable.
Someone is giving you critiques or someone is giving you feedback about things or showing you how you can do something better, don't come with sometimes, you take things with a grain of salt, but if someone is just giving you advice, that you ask for, listen before you respond, because it might help. And have a little bit of tough skin because you're going to get critiqued. My reels were garbage for the first 8 attempts. It took me 10 different edits on my reel to actually get a call back. And, there was a job in West Virginia. I was trying to get paid like $11 an hour. And they didn't call me back after the first phone call. So I was like, man, back to the drawing boards. But TKR took a chance on me. It only takes one yes for that to change.
Right. It only takes one, bro. Only takes
Yes.
one. Like I always say, man, don't waste your time trying to prove people wrong. Prove the people who do believe in you right, bro. Like,
right, exactly.
They believed in you. It's less work, bro, to try to prove the people who believe in you right. Worrying about people who don't believe in you, man. Like again, I'm glad you came on, bro. I know you got to run. You got the show at 11. You got to do 11 o'clock, right?
Yes, sir. Sports on at 11. But you know,
what? you got to get ready to get back to the lab, bro. I know you got to do it. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. But look, hey, Mitch, man. Look, man. Like I told you, bro. I love you, man. I love what you're doing, man. You representing, you know what I mean, for everybody, for the culture, for everybody, man. And keep doing what you're doing, okay? Keep doing what you're doing.
Yes, sir.
I appreciate y'all for real.
Yeah, yes, man. I followed you on Twitter now, man. Follow him at Mitch BTV. At Mitch BTV on Twitter, man. Man, look, I'm a fan, man. I'm a fan.
I appreciate
you. Got me, man. Trust me.
Hey, look, man, when you maybe during this summer, man, we can get you doing a little round table discussion. We're gonna have a few people. We got Marcus Higgins lined up. We got Nairi Roberts. We got a few people lined up. They want to do a little round table about the culture of sports and all that.
Man, you would be perfect, man. Tiffany Bauer.
Sign me up, man.
Yeah.
You already know. Just hit my line, and you know how it is. We set this up today, man. So I'm on go mode, whatever, man. Just let me know, bro.
I know you got us covered, man. I appreciate you, man. Keep doing what you're doing, bro. You got more than me and Larry watching. You know that. Everybody's a fan of you, man. You're doing your thing. You're representing, and we love what you're doing, bro.
That's love, man. I know I keep saying it, but I appreciate it, y'all. Appreciate y'all for having me on.
All right, yes, sir. Nice to meet you.
Sponsored by Transitions Empowerment.